Hello everyone, welcome back to another weather update. Today we'll be analyzing and reviewing newly formed Hurricane Elsa, which just happens to be the first hurricane to develop in the Atlantic. And well, it's actually part of the same system that I reviewed in my last video, which was Invest 95. That's what I was covering then. This just goes to show how quickly these conditions can actually intensify and give us hurricanes such as this, depending on the conditions. Again guys, the conditions that I've talked about the video before that one, how I gave you guys a little hurricane lesson. All those ingredients have to be present to get a storm such as this. And this one's looking very intense. I mean, this is a hurricane we are facing here. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is only a Category 1 at the moment. Nothing too crazy. It is actually moving. It's actually at 75 miles per hour right now, moving west-northwest. We're actually observing an area of Saharan air with a significant amount of dust particulates that'll actually leave the forecast area today as it moves northwest, being pushed ahead by Tropical Storm Elsa. Or should I say post-Tropical Storm Elsa? Now it's actually a hurricane, but that was the story before. Like I said, guys, it's Saharan dust here is actually pushing it along really west-northwest. Hurricane Elsa is actually expected to pass just south of the forecast area tonight. It is currently expected that tropical storm force winds will actually brush the southwest corridor of the forecast area just south of the Mount Chanel. Now these outer rain bands will actually begin affecting Puerto Rico roughly after midnight tonight. The intensity and track of Elsa still have some uncertainty here. Winds across the island will really depend very much on the how close the system actually gets to the island. However, models have actually been fairly consistent and bring up around 20 to 25 knots across expected portions of the island tonight, with gusts over 30 miles per hour certainly possible here. So some of the impacts you can see here. Elsa is moving very rapidly and will move across the eastern Caribbean and actually be south of the Dominican Republic by Saturday morning. This is when we'll see the best winds that are actually expected on land here. The latest model guidance actually suggests that the envelope of the best moisture and rains will actually be west of the U.S. Virgin Islands here. This is actually only according to this CMC model here. Actually, a lot of these models have actually not come to an agreement just yet. I'll get to that later. But basically, guys, this is actually predicting it to be just west of the U.S. Virgin Islands by Saturday, and possibly even east of, actually even past eastern Puerto Rico. Therefore, only limited rains are in the forecast for this region. After some drying on Saturday night, an area of moisture will actually fragment over the area on Sunday. See if I can get it here to Sunday. Right here, you can see we're going to get a lot of moisture in this region. An east-southeast flow should actually pull some of these scattered showers over southeast Puerto Rico. That's what I'm actually predicting here during the morning hours, roughly, I'd say. And actually allow some of these showers, possibly even a few thunderstorms as well. Keep in mind, we're actually facing a Category 1 hurricane here. It should really downgrade to a tropical storm around this area, actually. But we can still certainly see a couple of thunderstorms that will form in the northwest of the interior. Only slight activity is actually expected for the U.S. Virgin Islands between Saturday and Sunday, which is what this model is actually predicting here. We're actually seeing Monday through Friday here, actually into next week. Well, it's also, much like the other models, it actually indicates the possibility of having an African dust event, which you get all this brown here. This is a lack of water moisture in the air. What we're really seeing here is a disturbance. You can see how actually on the western coast of Africa here, you can see we have this darker brown. That is actually very dry air, which is actually associated with dust, and which actually create some of these disturbances. This dust is actually pushed westwards off of Africa and actually gets caught into the Atlantic Ocean here, and then it really interferes with some of the conditions here and actually ends up giving us a disturbance, which then again may even become a hurricane like what we're seeing now. Not always very likely though. But again, this African dust event could really give us actually hazy skies Monday through Tuesday, I'd say. However, we're actually seeing right now throughout this week, we see you can see right over around here, this area, you can see a high pressure begins to form there. We actually are seeing this high surface pressure across the Atlantic Ocean, which will promote an advective pattern that could actually bring patches of moisture from time to time over Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. That is actually what we're seeing here. Again, just a new pattern here with moisture, not so much drier air from time to time. It's really going to be occasional here, because then again we could also see areas like this. Use dry air mass associated with this Saharan dust layer here. Then again, model guidance actually has a tropical wave arriving at the region Tuesday or Wednesday here, with this bulk of moisture just south of the islands here. In addition, an upper level trough could actually promote a better dynamic if it actually locates near the Hispaniola when the wave actually arrives. I don't know if you can just see we actually have an upper level trough right around here. Now again, guys, Elsa is moving towards the west-northwest near 28 miles per hour in terms of speed. of the storm itself, and this motion is actually expected to continue for the next couple of days here. According to the forecast track here and other model guidance, Elsa will actually pass near or over portions of the Windward Islands, or the southern Leeward Islands this morning. And as we move later into today, into tonight, as we actually move into Saturday here, we actually see that it kind of shifts a little, and it will actually move across the Eastern Caribbean Sea late today and tonight. And this will actually also move near the southern coast of Hispaniola on Saturday. As you can see here, the fast forward a little bit into later Saturday. Then by Sunday, Elsa is actually forecast to move near Jamaica and the portions of eastern Cuba. There's still some considerable uncertainty for early next week, as I was saying. These models have not really come to such an agreement just yet. This also kind of encloses on the theory here that it may actually impact the Keys marine area. I'll try to continue to monitor the latest forecasts closely today, and take advantage of the expected favorable water through the weekend to review and take action on your tropical cyclone preparedness plan. In the long range, a lot actually depends on what happens with this tropical storm. However, in general, we actually expect 2 to 4 inches of rain over the next week, with isolated higher amounts. It's actually according to the National Hurricane Service. If Elsa actually moves into the area, then I really predict rainfall amounts that could be really more higher, with a higher threat of flooding as well. You can see here, this is actually Tropical Storm Elsa. It may actually enter the Eastern Gulf early next week. This is only according to the GFS. I'm not sure if you saw here. I don't think I actually fast forwarded enough. If you actually fast forward on the CMC model, see it actually shows more of a trend of actually moving east, away from the Gulf, more and just keeping it in the northern Atlantic here, right off the coast of Florida and of course the southeast. But if we actually move to the GFS model, we see it moving more inland through the Gulf, actually impacting more of the Keys in western Florida, and really making actually landfall in the panhandle around Tallahassee, whereas the CMC just doesn't depict that. And again, the long term depends heavily on the track and intensity of Tropical Storm Elsa, or future Tropical Storm Elsa, I should say, because then again, right now it's actually a hurricane, not making much of an impact on the islands there, including Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. It should maybe stay out to sea and then weaken as it actually moves more towards the U.S. But there actually remains a very large spread, especially in the 0Z guidance on the future of this storm. In Florida's area we also have to really focus on Florida here, guys, especially, again, either model really predicts either moving east or west to Florida. Definitely some of the coastal regions still getting the effects of that storm. I'm sure they're going to see torrential rain, possibly even some flooding as well. You guys also got to keep in mind, Florida's area is within the National Hurricane Center's 5-day cone of uncertainty, while impacts are actually possible during the early to middle part next week. So that's when I'll mention those impacts, like I said, rain and flooding. That is actually definitely possible during the middle part of next week. But then again, it's really too early to go too much into detail here. Keep in mind that the average area on the National Hurricane Center Day 4 track forecast is really around 175 miles. So that's a long range distance, guys. And the average area on the National Hurricane Center Day 5 track forecast is actually around 200 miles, I believe. So yeah, very far out there. So that's why we really have to stay tuned here to the latest forecast and make sure your hurricane kits and plans are actually in place. Again, guys, it's really smart to stay weather aware and pay attention to really just turn on the weather channel if you can. Just try to stay weather informed. But beyond the Caribbean, Elsa is actually expected to turn north and might, notice I emphasize there, might enter the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Because like I said, CMC actually isn't quite predicting that. By early next week is when we might actually see this, according to the GFS. At this point, there actually remains uncertainty in the forecast cone. The National Hurricane Center has placed the southern half of Georgia, including portions of southwest Georgia, in the forecast cone. This means that impacts from Elsa could be possible in our region by the early to middle portions of next week. However, it's actually important to note that the forecast track will actually change in the coming days, as per usual, possibly removing some of the potential impacts from our forecast in the Georgia area. But everyone in the southwest Georgia region should really closely monitor Elsa's path in the coming days and prepare accordingly. Back to the 0Z GFS, this actually depicts Elsa making landfall near Tallahassee here in the panhandle of Florida. Late Wednesday evening is what we're looking at here. And then it'll actually track north across southwest Georgia, and then, of course, transitioning across that border into South Carolina, across the South Carolina low country, I should say. Now we just look at, this is actually the 0Z Canadian model. It actually pushes the storm up the east coast of Florida, much like what we're seeing on the CMC. So the CMC and Canadian model guidance sort of come to an agreement here where it's really going to go up the eastern coast of Florida and not make much of an impact on the Gulf and the panhandle of Florida. So like I said, guys, we're really all over the place here with these models. But like I said, it really pushes it up the eastern coast of Florida, and then it actually goes inland near Myrtle Beach Wednesday. So it's really expected to make landfall in that area around Myrtle Beach. Not sure if you guys knew this. That's actually where I used to live, in Myrtle Beach. That's actually where my past house was. But its ensemble members still bear significant spread. Now we actually go to the European model here, really the 20Z and 112Z runs. That depicts such a weak storm that it isn't immediately apparent from sensible WX charts here, as you can see. This is actually the geopotential height. We're not really seeing anything show up here as far as our low pressure system, so it's really supposed to weaken then. Now we go to another model here. The 12Z EC ensemble tracks are actually mostly off the eastern coast here, is what we're really expecting to see. Further than the Canadian deterministic run. Although if we actually look back here to the official National Hurricane Center forecast, it's actually currently agreeing anywhere between the GFS and Canadian models. But if we actually focus here on the GFS here, we actually do see that Elsa is actually not withstanding, especially through Tuesday and Wednesday. We're actually expected to see a stationary front is actually really just we're expected to just creep northward from the Gulf Coast under the continuing southerly flow around the Bermuda High here. A broad northern stream trough will actually carry a weak cold front into the northern plains and Midwest. Now between these features, this actually does contribute to the track of Tropical Storm Elsa. We will actually remain under instability to drive convection and precipitation in this region, really anywhere between Georgia and South Carolina. Then again, this trend looks warranted even if Elsa does not impact the region. Now around this time too, if we actually fast forward here to around Wednesday and Thursday when it's in this region, we're actually seeing that wind shear will really be minimal in this time frame. So pop-up storms should really be expected at this time. But anyway, the main idea here is that the impacts on the U.S. are quite uncertain. Although, like I said, the National Hurricane Center is really going with the GFS and Canadian models. But it really actually does have a broad range of impact here. So as you can see here from the cone of uncertainty, it's really what they're really predicting is not to go too far west into the Gulf and really make an impact on the Panhandle. Or really actually seeing it make more landfall on just the western coast of Florida. But then again, it also is possible that it may even just go up the eastern coast of Florida, western coast, eastern coast. You guys got to be prepared and really just stay weather aware here with this developing hurricane. That's what we're seeing right now. Although when it does, as you can see here, as it gets closer to the U.S. and Florida, it will only be a tropical storm, possibly seeing winds around, let's say around 30 to 40 miles per hour, possibly gusts up to 50. So still, it's very high winds, guys. But like I said, the main risk here will be those surges and waves. That storm surge, that's the word I'm looking for. That'll certainly be present at times, as well as some of the heavy rains you guys will get. Also watch out for that flash flooding. All be risk here within this tropical storm. So guys, I believe that this should really just wrap us up here. I actually believe there's a thunderstorm coming our way right now. We're actually not under any kind of special weather statement right now at the moment, but there's no storm on the way. I may actually go record that, but I also got to get this video out before, because things are changing very quickly here with these models. I don't want to miss out on anything. I hope you guys enjoyed this tropical update. I'm actually getting more adjusted to these now, and well, I really do enjoy them. Also, I'll just tell you guys about the storms yesterday. Those are actually extremely severe. I'm actually editing those videos right now. I also got some very cool shots there of those clouds. I've actually spotted a couple of different shelf clouds. One's appearance was almost more of a roll cloud, where it had that more sleek appearance, and then the other really showed those those more ominous looking clouds, where you even see that green glow within them, and just really ones that could dissipate very quickly. That kind of shelf cloud. I even saw some rotation in the clouds at times, but I'd say that was the coolest footage I've gotten in a while there. Really in a couple of years, I'd say. They reminded me of the storms down south. They did. Just the way those cloud formations were, those shelf clouds just quickly sweeping through the region. And then of course I got some of those cool lightning strikes, cloud to ground, very close to my house actually. I got a couple of those. That was some of the loudest thunder I've heard in years as well. Very loud thunder, very close lightning strikes, kind of coincide with each other. So I got some really cool footage overall, as well as some good photos. I'll try to edit those any chance I can get. So, I guess I'll wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please just consider subscribing if you do like these videos. I guess that'll be it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.